My name is Jeremy Portillo, and I'd like to welcome you all to my presentation on the Code of Ethics within as it applies to business. So, while every company differs slightly, a Code of Ethics, or COE as I'd like to refer to it, serves as a foundational document for guiding the behavior of employees within organization. A COE outlines the principles and standards that govern ethical conduct, promoting integrity, respect, and responsibility in all interactions. In some cases, the code of ethics of a business extend beyond the physical workplace, impacting the lives of employees regardless of whether the decisions are made on company grounds or not. So, LinkedIn and AT&T, what are we going to talk about? In this discussion of code of ethics, this presentation and this article will serve two key points. First, as a comparative analysis of the codes of ethics of two prominent American companies, AT&T and LinkedIn. And one thing I want to point out is that AT&T represents a daughter company of Microsoft. That's just going to be an important point going forward. Exploring both the similarities and the differences in their approaches to ethical conduct. And second, this presentation and document will provide an opinion on the validity of the social responsibility decisions of both AT&T and LinkedIn. So, beginning with AT&T Code of Ethics. Formerly the Bell Telephone Company, AT&T, a multinational telecommunication company founded back in the 1800s, places a strong emphasis on honesty and respect within its code of ethics. It has the motto of live true, do the right thing, no compromise. The company has committed to expecting integrity from all employees. A quote from their CEO, John Stankey, our commitment to AT&T is to act with honesty, integrity, and transparency in everything that we do. This is what our customers expect from us, and it's what we demand from each other. That comes straight from AT&T's Code of Business Ethics 2023. In sticking with these philosophies, AT&T prioritizes respect and inclusion, fostering a culture where all individuals are treated with fairness. AT&T strictly prohibits harassment and discrimination and seeks diversity, equity, and inclusion. They place a significant emphasis on compliance and by ensuring adherence to laws such as data privacy, antitrust, bribery, and corruption. AT&T also does a great job of protecting confidential information and customer data. Serving as the only telecommunications company on the list, Ethisphere voted AT&T for the third consecutive year as the world's most ethical companies, most recently voted in 2022. LinkedIn's Codes of Ethics. LinkedIn is the world's largest professional networking platform, and it shares very similar values to AT&T within the Code of Ethics. Like AT&T, LinkedIn emphasizes integrity, honesty, and respect. As a daughter company, LinkedIn expects employees, as a daughter company of Microsoft, LinkedIn expects its employees to maintain integrity in interactions and treat individuals with dignity and fairness. As stated by their chairman and CEO, Nadella, each one of us shapes our culture through our words and actions. We strive to build a diverse and inclusive culture that embraces learning and fosters trust. This comes straight from Microsoft's Standard of Business Conduct, aka their Trust Code. Directly comparing AT&T and LinkedIn. So while both AT&T and LinkedIn share similar values in their codes of ethics, there are noticeable differences. One key difference is in their business objectives. So that may play a giant factor in how they go about their ethical considerations, how the actions are actually performed. For example, let me lay this out. So for example, AT&T's focus on telecommunications and larger sort of media presence, we've all seen the commercials, may lead to a greater emphasis on issues such as data privacy, compliance with general telecommunications and television regulations, and responsible business practices for more responsible business practices more specific to customer service and quality. One thing I want to point out is AT&T, like you can go buy a phone or you can go interact with an AT&T employee in person or online. That's not really the case for LinkedIn. On the other hand, again, for example, LinkedIn focuses more focuses on professional networking and social media, and this may lead to a stronger emphasis on the protection of customer online data and privacy. LinkedIn employees primarily interact with their users via virtual or online communication, and thus their trainings and their actual responsibilities may have a direct influence on how the codes of ethics are both developed and how the codes of ethics are actually acted out. So in terms of social responsibility, AT&T is committed to environmental sustainability, diversity, and community engagement. AT&T encourages both its employees and its chairman to act responsibly and minimize environmental impact. They do quite a bit of philanthropic work as well as environmental conservation efforts. AT&T, based again on the 3 consecutive years of being voted the world's most ethical company, I believe that gives the company some validity in being labeled as a socially responsible company, directly in line with their code of ethics. Moving on to LinkedIn. So in terms of their social responsibility, LinkedIn, again and within coordination with the ethical codes of Microsoft, its mother company, is committed to making a positive impact on the society and the communities that it serves. LinkedIn customers participate in volunteer opportunities and activism, charitable activities, and then donations and events annually. Very similar to AT&T, however, with a longer standing, despite actually being a newer company by hundreds of years, has won that same exact award 6 consecutive years in a row. So LinkedIn has been voted by Ethisphere 6 consecutive years in a row as the world's most ethical company. And because of that, LinkedIn has demonstrated to me to be a socially responsible company that appears to be directly in line with the company's codes of ethics. So in conclusion, while AT&T and LinkedIn share similar values within their codes of ethics, differences do exist. And the big thing I really want to point out also in this conclusion is that a lot of codes of ethics, or most codes of ethics, are not going to look very different. It's very hard to find differences within codes of ethics because it's pretty cut and dry and straightforward. Treat others with respect. However, these differences do likely stem from factors such as industry focus and corporate culture. Again, with LinkedIn being more of a online social media platform, and AT&T being more on the telecommunications side, their focus is likely going to shape how their employees interact with customers. And then also corporate culture. LinkedIn is a brand new company within the last 15, 20 years, and they grew up in the internet age versus the AT&T has been around for over hundreds of years and likely has had dozens of codes of ethics that have changed and had to warp with the change of time. So I do want to state that both companies, despite these slight differences, do attempt to promote respect, compliance, and social responsibility. But exactly how these values are manifested, again, likely differs due to respective corporate cultures and objectives, as well as the industry focus. However, by adhering to these codes of ethics, in my opinion, AT&T and LinkedIn both represent socially responsible and honest and accountable companies, and they come to expect that accountability and that honesty from their employees. So again, both represent socially responsible companies, and they both are attempting to move that corporate needle towards respect, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank you for listening.